working to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Mga Angeles, we're moving to the next stage of the pandemic, and as the world resets to the new normal, we find ourselves seeking the right balance between health and livelihood, constantly adjusting the boundaries between liberty and responsibility. Welcome to ASEAN in Focus. Okay, first let's go to Malaysia, where the Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin announced various initiatives to help the country tackle the health, economic, and social challenges brought about by the coronavirus pandemic. That story and more from our EBC correspondent, Ruby Tinawin. Hello, Ruby.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
For the latest news here in Malaysia, various important initiatives have been announced by Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin in his first 100 days as the 8th Prime Minister. These initiatives are mainly to help the country tackle the health, economic, and social challenges brought about by the global COVID-19 pandemic and the fall in world crude oil prices. Among the most crucial and commendable decisions taken by Muhyiddin since he took office on March 1st were the following: announcement of a 32-member cabinet, which for the first time in the country's history, Malaysia does not have a deputy prime minister, but instead has 4 senior ministers. And when COVID-19 pandemic hit the country, the prime minister set up the Economic Action Council to deal with the economic challenges facing the country and launched a special fund for COVID-19 patients. His initiative to fight the pandemic were evident in his bold decisions for a nationwide enforcement and extension of the movement control order, which include closing the country's borders to foreigners. Under his leadership, several 100 million ringgit fund allocations were given to the Ministry of Health, not just to increase the number of hospitals treating COVID-19 cases, but to be used for buying medical and non-medical assets in the wake of the second wave of the coronavirus in the country, and for appointing 2,000 new healthcare personnel. He also unveiled the 250 billion Prihatin Rakyat economic stimulus package for the benefit of all segments of its citizens and announced an additional Prihatin package for SMEs. Now, under his strict healthcare guidelines and movement restriction, throughout the MCO period, the Prime Minister allowed several selected economic sectors to reopen in stages. When he announced the Conditional Movement Control Order in May, the Prime Minister also allowed most economic and social activities to resume. Muhyiddin has also unveiled recently the short-term National Economic Recovery Plan worth 35 billion ringgit to empower the people, propel businesses, and stimulate the economy. And as Malaysia enters the economy and the recovery phase, the country has succeeded in flattening the COVID-19 infection. The nation is now placed under the Recovery Movement Control Order starting tomorrow until August 31st. Indeed, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. With the country's faith in its and its Prime Minister, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin's unpopular but bold decisions to take the bull by the horns in handling the COVID-19 pandemic has saved the day for Malaysia. Meanwhile, a World Bank representative says Malaysia can expect its economy to get on the recovery path from the end of this year with a return to growth into 2021. The bank's country manager for Malaysia, Firas Raad, said Malaysia must continue with its encouraging and effective public health measures while bringing the economy back to where it was before the COVID-19 pandemic. He said pro-growth policies coupled with incentives to push the private sector are crucial ingredients to employ to help the nation recover from the economic downturn. Firas added that Malaysia should continue its effort on the reform agendas, such as those involving governance, regulatory environment, and competition of economic sectors, as well as education reform in bids to achieve high-income nations status. He also added that the World Bank is in the midst of reviewing the economic impact of COVID-19 outbreak on Malaysia's economy before deciding whether to revise the country's 2020 gross domestic product growth target sometime this month. In April, the bank cuts Malaysia's 2020 GDP growth to forecast from 4.5% to a negative 0.1%. Business activities in Malaysia are resuming as the country gradually eased the coronavirus lockdown measures after the economic activity was frozen for almost 2 months. In other news, authorities intercepted a boat carrying 269 Rohingyas trying to enter Langkawi waters yesterday morning and found a woman's body in it. The National Task Force said in a statement that all of them were arrested at about 5 a.m. after it received information from the Langkawi Royal Malaysia Police Maritime Operation Commanding Officer 2 hours earlier. According to the statement, a Marine Police team boat and the KM Kimanis from the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency were sent to the scene to carry out surveillance and deportation operations. The statement said that when the KM Kimanis approached the boat, 53 of the Rohingyas jumped off the boat and swam ashore, but they were all arrested by MMEA personnel who were standing by on land. A check on the boat found 216 Rohingyas on board and also the body of a woman. The boat was also found to have been purposely damaged with its engine beyond repair. As such, deportation could not be carried out. The KM Kimanis also provided assistance in the form of food and fresh water to the illegal immigrants. Based on humanitarian grounds, the National Security Council allowed the boat to be towed to the Teluk Ewa jetty in Langkawi. All 269 illegal immigrants have been detained and have been temporarily placed at Camp Bina Negara Wawasan, Langkawi, while the body has been handed over to the police for further action. The NTF carried out the Op Benteng together with the Malaysian Armed Forces, Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency, and other enforcement and security agencies. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Ruby, for your updates. Thank you, EBC Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia Bureau.
Yes, reporting live here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This is Ruby Tinawi. We live in interesting times.
In business news, Da Nang in Vietnam is seeking a developer for a $2 billion condo in Twin Tower. Joining us live from Vietnam is Eliana Faith Sebastian. Hello, Eliana. Okay, first let's go over to Sri Lanka, where visas issued to all foreigners will now be valid until July 12. And telcos also in Sri Lanka will provide expanded data plans to help people work and study from home. Plus, the latest coronavirus update. Joining us live from Sri Lanka is Vanessa Viloria Silva. Hello, Vanessa.
Hi, Alma. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon from Manila.
Yes, Alma. So here's the latest update here in Sri Lanka. Validity period of SL visas for foreigners extended to July. Sri Lankan Department of Immigration has extended the validity period of all types of visas issued to all foreigners currently in Sri Lanka up to 11th of July 2020, as many were unable to get an appointment before the previous deadline of June 11. Accordingly, all applicants are advised to pay the relevant visa fee and get the visa endorsed in the passport by securing an appointment on or before 11th of July 2020 using an online link. All visas which expire between March 7 to July 11, 2020 will be exempted from being charged to overstay penalty. Those who possess a due appointment notice are only be permitted appointment 15 minutes prior to the allocated time. And another update, Alma, Sri Lanka's telecom firms will provide expanded data plans to help customers work and study from home to promote social distancing during coronavirus. And talks are also underway to design unlimited data packages, a regulatory official said. The industry has so far been reluctant to provide unlimited data packages as it could overload networks during the evening peak and reduce quality for all users. Data use in Sri Lanka has been growing sharply as due to rising domestic YouTube content, online meetings, social media, as well as shifting voice traffic to over-the-top services. Sri Lanka has been progressively relaxing coronavirus controls and also been relaxing limits placed on the number of workers that can report to office with no new cases reported from the community for more than 3 weeks. However, controls on public transport are still in place. Schools are using Zoom.com, Skype, and WhatsApp to teach students. WhatsApp is useful for students who do not have computers. And for COVID-19 update, Alma, 49 more COVID-19 infected patients were recovered and discharged from hospitals, increasing the total number of recovered patients in Sri Lanka to 990. A total of 834 patients are still under medical care at hospitals, and 34 more naval personnel infected with COVID-19 were recovered and discharged, bringing the recovered number to 522. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Vanessa, for your updates there in Sri Lanka. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alma, reporting live from Sri Lanka. This is Vanessa Viloria Silva, and we live in interesting times.
To Vietnam now, Da Nang is seeking a developer for a $2 billion condo in Twin Tower. Joining us live from Vietnam is Eliana Faith Sebastian. Hello, Eliana.
Hi, Alma.
Hi, Eliana. Okay, so your update from Vietnam.
Oh, here's the latest update here in Vietnam. Da Nang is about to seek develop.
Okay. Eliana, can you still hear me? Okay. Let's first go to New Zealand, where it is charting its post-COVID-19 trajectory. To give us that update is Bea Borja.
Hello, Alma.
Hi, Bea. How are you doing?
Yep. So, yeah, good.
Very good.
It's really nice.
I know.
You? How are
no
you?
more social distancing measures over there.
No more.
No more. So back to
Yep.
normal.
Yep. So it's been a well-deserved victory for New Zealand's fight against COVID-19 as the government moved alert level 1 today. Literally, this means the removal of all but a few restrictions necessitated by the COVID containment response management, which, if left to remain in place, may hinder the pace of recovery. This might be getting a little repetitive, but today is the 18th day of no new cases reported. There were also no additional deaths, and there are still no active cases of COVID-19 in the country. Now that New Zealand has successfully overcome COVID-19, it should be able to focus on recovering from the economic fallout of the virus. Beginning today, New Zealand's battle cry transitions from Unite Against COVID-19 to Unite for Recovery. With borders still closed, the Prime Minister urged New Zealanders to support local businesses and to explore their own beautiful backyard. This is alongside several economic stimulus packages the government has put out to protect businesses and jobs. According to Ministers Grant Robertson of Finance and Carmel Sapoloni of Social Development, based on a survey of more than 90,000 businesses that receive the wage subsidy, only intended to make staff redundant in the next few months. 40,000 more businesses will also be eligible for the wage subsidy scheme due to the modification in revenue loss thresholds. Minister David Parker of Trade and Export Growth, meanwhile, unveiled the government's trade recovery strategy. It is intended to support exporters and ensure the country's access to imports. 101 days since the virus first arrived in New Zealand, and the country is now truly reaping the benefits of its collective effort and sacrifice. The relatively short period of time the country has spent around lockdown is now giving it a strong head start towards reopening its economy much quicker than other comparable countries. New Zealand now has the advantage of shifting its focus from health response to a vigorous economic recovery. And so it emerges as an inspiring commentary on this enormously transformative national experience that New Zealand's case is truly worth emulating for many countries which are still in the thick of the battle against COVID-19. That, after all, like previous historically catastrophic pandemics that ravaged humanity, this global health crisis can be ended deliberately and decisively through collective action of societies and, evidently, the outcome of effective national leadership going forward. Alma?
All right. Thank you very much, Bea, for your updates there in New Zealand. Congratulations again to New Zealand.
Thank you so much, and please be safe. This is Bea Borja reporting live from Wellington City, New Zealand. We live in interesting times.
Crowded with visitors now in gyms and beaches in Thailand a week into the phase 3 as the government eased some coronavirus lockdown measures. Gila Pablo joins us live from Thailand. Hello, Gila.
Yes, hello, Alma. Good afternoon. And you're right. Gyms, beaches, churches, and other mid-risk venues are crowded with visitors a week into the phase 3 of government easing coronavirus lockdown measures. Alma, as a sign of declining worries over the virus, lives returned to normal in many parts of Thailand, albeit with some restrictions, and the government said it would no longer hold pandemic update briefings on weekends. The latest briefing on Monday said 7 more people tested positive for the virus, and today 2 additional people tested positive, and all of them returned from overseas. Alma, at a gym on Wednesday in Korat, the manager made sure that people jogged in treadmills and lifted weights, all the while separated by plastic sheets. Every single machine had a plastic barrier, while machines and contact services are cleaned every 30 minutes. Only 50 people are allowed in his gym at a time. Alma Catholics in Buriram rejoiced literally when the first mass since lockdown in the province was allowed Sunday at the Wat May Praheng Sai Prakunsuk Sit Church. Bangsen Beach in Chonburi was so crowded over the past week that on Sunday, a group of both Thais and tourists take up the trash left by visitors. But Alma officials said they remain vigilant over the possibility of a second wave of the coronavirus outbreak. Worried by the crowds of tourists, Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has instructed officials to maintain social distancing measures over beach visits, such as setting limits on visitor numbers and separate areas for beach-side restaurants and picnics. Spokesman Tawisin said officials are determining the rules that will be used for the phase 4 reopening of schools, pubs, bars, and other high-risk areas. Meanwhile, Alma, Thailand's Natural Resources and Environment Minister, will meet with the senior officials from the Department of the National Parks, Wildlife and Plant Conservation this Friday to decide which national parks can be fully or partially reopened to the public. The minister said today that there are 155 national parks, including marine parks, under the supervision of the department, but only those which are ready to open will be allowed to do so, tentatively next month. New normal rules will be applied to all reopening parks, such as the limitation of the visitors to only 60% to 70% of pre-closure levels and the requirement of online advance booking. He warned that officials will close the parks if it is discovered that there is widespread littering. As for marine parks, the minister said that local park communities will be given the chance to participate in the management of tourism by setting up their own tour companies. If that is not possible, they can also work as guides so that the communities can earn revenue from the natural resources. Many marine species, which were rarely sighted before the coronavirus pandemic, had returned to marine parks in the Andaman Sea during the lockdown. Meanwhile, the Department of Disease Control reported today 2 new coronavirus cases, bringing the total in Thailand to 3,121. No additional deaths, leaving the total number at 56, and discharged patients remained at 2,973. And there are still 9 patients remain in the hospital. Alma?
All right. Thank you very much, Gila, for your updates there in Bangkok. Thank you, EBC Bangkok, Thailand Bureau.
Yes, Alma. Thank you so much. Again, this is Zila Pamlo reporting live from Bangkok, Thailand. We live in interesting times.
Okay, let's go outside the region. In Australia, Canberra has eased some coronavirus restrictions. Christelle Ibuna reports from Canberra.
It has been over 2 months now since the coronavirus pandemic has reached Canberra, Australia. ACT is considered very lucky, with only 0.02% of its 457,000 residents recorded positive. 104 of the 107 cases has recovered, and only 3 unfortunate deaths, all of which were isolated and treated in the Canberra hospital. There has been no new case to this day, with over 12,000 Canberrans tested for the coronavirus. The Canberra government closed down non-essential businesses and services, such as retail shops and restaurants, limiting to only takeaways and home deliveries. The state also banned gatherings such as weddings, parties, funerals, and religious services with greater than 10 people. Businesses, especially government departments, has encouraged their employees to work from home if possible, to abide to the restriction of limiting the number of people in a facility. As for employees who still work in their respective workplace, they are expected to practice social distancing, good hand hygiene, and wearing of face masks and gloves if necessary. Although the restrictions have not completely vanished, it is still recommended for Canberrans to continue to practice social distancing and good hand hygiene till a vaccine or a solid treatment plan has been implemented. It is best for us to listen to the government and the healthcare team for instructions and updates. This is Christelle Ibuna from Canberra, Australia, and I am 1 with 25.
Thank you, Crystal. Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, said more evidence is needed about the effectiveness of digital tracing tools that have been used to track the spread of the coronavirus infection. Take a look.
Today is Contact tracing remains an essential element of the response. In some countries, there is already a strong network of health workers for polio who are now being deployed for COVID-19. Last week, we published guidance that describes how existing polio surveillance networks can be used in the COVID-19 response and outlines the measures that should be put in place to maintain an effective level of surveillance for polio. WHO has also published new guidelines on the use of digital tools for contact tracing. Many digital tools have been developed to assist with contact tracing and case identification. Some are designed for use by public health personnel, like WHO's Go Data application, which has been used successfully to trace contacts during the ongoing Ebola outbreak in DRC. Others use GPS or Bluetooth technology to identify those who may have been exposed to an infected person. And still others can be used by people to self-report signs and symptoms of COVID-19. As part of a comprehensive approach, digital contact tracing tools offer the opportunity to trace larger numbers of contacts in a shorter period of time and to provide a real-time picture of the spread of the virus. But they can also pose challenges to privacy, lead to incorrect medical advice based on self-reported symptoms, and can exclude those who do not have access to modern digital technologies. more evidence is needed about the effectiveness of these tools for contact tracing. We encourage countries to gather this evidence as they roll out these tools and to contribute that evidence to the global knowledge base. We also emphasize that digital tools do not replace the human capacity needed to do contact tracing. Starting tomorrow, WHO is convening an online consultation on contact tracing for COVID-19 to share technical and operational experience on contact tracing, including innovations in digital technology.
Virus tracing apps are seen as a vital tool for slowing the spread of COVID-19, which has killed nearly 29,000 people just in France. Governments around the world have developed apps either on their own or enlisting help from private companies, including Apple and Google, which have teamed up to provide tracing software that's compatible between their phones. Many use Bluetooth technology that allows phones to see if a person comes into close contact with someone who has tested positive for the virus, assuming the infected person had entered the diagnostic into the app. France refused to work with Apple and Google for its app, citing data privacy concerns. Use of the Stop COVID app is voluntary, and officials say no personal data can be revealed to fellow users. Health experts say at least 60% of a population needs to use the technology for it to be effective as countries lift their lockdowns, since vast numbers of people are still at risk of infection. ASEAN in Focus, we'll be right back.
Patindi ng patindi at tuloy-tuloy ang pagpapakita ng galing ng ating mga TNG aspirants. Abangan ng kanilang performances sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa buong bansa, Tagisan ng Galing.
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved Nutrichos, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa Nutrichos. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Standard Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matinco. R Square Variables Incorporated, CompuZell Computer Services, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, EMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Skyway Stages 1 and 2, the elevated toll road system project, run from a section of the South Luzon Expressway from Alabang to Magallanes, Makati. The Skyway Stage 3 is an elevated expressway connecting the South Luzon Expressway through the existing Skyway Stages 1 and 2 to the North Luzon Expressway via Balintawak. Skyway Stage 4 is an 80-kilometer mixed elevated and at-grade toll road that will connect the existing Skyway system starting from the FTI section all the way to Bulacan.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Okay, in business news, Da Nang is seeking a developer for a $2 billion condo in Twin Tower. Joining us live from Vietnam is Eliana Faith Sebastian. Hello, Eliana.
Hello, Alma.
Hello, Eliana. Good to hear from you.
Thank you. Here's the latest update here in Da Nang, Vietnam. Da Nang is about to seek development.
Okay, staying in Vietnam, Hanoi's Investment Promotion Conference, Phu Quoc Island is poised to allow the Phu Quoc Island is poised to allow some international arrivals now. That and other news. Joining us live is Chriselle Lacuna. Hello, Chriselle. Okay, it seems we're having some problems with our connection in Vietnam. First, in the Philippines, there were at least 22 domestic flights scheduled to depart and arrive via the Ninoy Aquino International Airport on Monday as local carriers gradually resume operations. Cebu Pacific spokesperson Charo Lagamon confirmed to the Philippine News Agency that all its scheduled flights via NAIA for Monday pushed through. CEB and its subsidiary CEB Go have 10 scheduled flights between Manila and Cagayan, Pagadian, Dipolog, Cebu, and Naga. Flag carrier Philippine Airlines, on the other hand, had 12 scheduled flights via NAIA. PAL spokesperson Shelo Villaluna told reporters that these included 8 commercial flights between Manila, Davao, Cebu, Cagayan de Oro, and Dipolog. 4 sweeper flights between Manila and General Santos City and Zamboanga City were also mounted. Based on the Manila International Airport Authority's record, there are only 4 international departure flights scheduled on Monday, and these are flights to Tokyo, Doha, Incheon, and Los Angeles. Airlines that mounted these flights were all Nippon Airways, Qatar Airways, Korean Air, and Philippine Airlines, respectively. The MIA has advised passengers not to proceed to NAIA unless they have confirmed flights. Earlier, CEB made a late-night announcement of the cancellation of its General Santos City flights due to restrictions imposed by the local government. The country's major local carriers announced the resumption of flight operations after the government eased lockdown, putting the National Capital Region, Davao City, Cagayan Valley, Central Luzon, Calabarzon, Pangasinan, and Albay under General Community Quarantine or GCQ. The government has allowed domestic flight services between areas under GCQ provided that these are approved by the local government units. Okay, let's head on back to Da Nang, Vietnam. Joining us live, try to get back Eliana Faith Sebastian on the line. Hello, Eliana.
Hello, Alma.
Hi. Okay, good to see you back.
Hello, good to see you. Here's the latest update here in Danang. Danang is about to seek developer for $2 billion condo twin tower and casino complex.
Okay, a British man who spent 6 days trapped in a well after being chased by a dog has been rescued on the Indonesian resort island of Bali, according to authorities. A rescue team lifted 29-year-old Jacob Roberts from the 4-meter deep concrete pit after a farmer in Pekatu village raised the alarm. Jacob's calls for help were heard by a local who was going to feed his cows, according to local search and rescue chief Gede Darmada. Roberts broke his leg when he stumbled into the near-empty reservoir. He told authorities he had been trying to evade a dog that chased him through the village. South Kuta Police Chief Yusak Agustinus Sowai said after the Britain's rescue on Saturday that he looked thin and injured. Police took Roberts to a nearby hospital for treatment. Poor internet service and poverty have galvanized teachers in Indonesia's remote villages to hop on their motorbikes and travel for miles to teach pupils at their homes as schools remain closed amid the coronavirus pandemic. Take a look.
Dengan kebijakan pemerintah dengan adanya pembelajaran online, ini memang kami merasakan kesulitan dengan medan yang lembah dan berbukit-bukit dan sulit untuk menangkap sinyal. Maka langkah yang dilaksanakan oleh guru-guru di sini atau sebagai solusinya kami harus mendatangi kepada anak-anak untuk memberikan pembelajaran.
Saya kangen sekolahan lagi karena saya kangen teman-teman, guru, Mbah Narto, dan bisa merawat tumbuhan lagi.
Katakan sebaik-baiknya.
Okay, let's head on back to Vietnam, where Hanoi's upcoming investment promotion conference is expected to attract 1,500 delegates. Take a look. Chriselle Acuna joins us live. Hello, Chriselle.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon to you and to all of our viewers. Yes, that's correct. Hanoi's upcoming investment promotion conference to attract 1,500 delegates. The event, themed Hanoi 2020 Investment and Development Cooperation, will take place at the National Convention Center on June 27. Hanoi's upcoming investment promotion conference is set to attract up to 1,500 delegates, including international experts, investors, and senior officials, said the Municipal People's Committee. The organization of the conference after Hanoi's initial containment of the COVID-19 pandemic sends a strong message on efforts of the capital city in particular and of Vietnam in general to lure investment from domestic and abroad businesses. More than ever, Hanoi remains a safe and stable investment destination for investors as the capital city is determined to be the pioneer among Vietnam's localities in rebooting the economy in the post-pandemic period, stressed the Municipal Party Committee. According to the committee, the process would boost Hanoi's administrative reform and enhance the city's business and investment environment towards the ultimate goal of achieving high economic growth. Now, Alma, Vietnam really cites the FDI, or so-called foreign direct investment, as an attraction. It's one of the 5 key solutions to post-coronavirus economic recovery. The COVID-19 has seriously affected the foreign investment inflows that witnessed a year-on-year decrease of 17% in the first 5 months of this year, according to the Foreign Investment Agency under the Ministry of Planning and Investment. Vietnam possesses a number of advantages to harness new investment waves, as national corporations are believed to seek relocation of production facilities in the post-coronavirus period. Now, may we mention that Apple plans to move some of the production in here, and also Panasonic from Thailand, they plan to relocate also in Vietnam. Now, many U.S. firms are also actively seeking for opportunities in Vietnam, are among positive signals indicating that the nation has emerged as a spotlight in welcoming the transition of investment in the next period. Now, FDI, or foreign direct investment, is among the 5 pillars of economic recovery, including attracting the investment from domestic economic sectors, boosting up exports, enhancing public investment, promoting domestic consumption, and the so-called FDI, or the foreign direct investment. Now, let's go hear some tourism news. Vietnam escapes COVID-19 tourist trap. Holiday makers are back, and they're mostly locals. That may be a model for the rest of the world, according to Bloomberg. Vietnam is pulling ahead in the race to reopen Southeast Asia to city hoppers and sun seekers. International arrivals were down 98% in May from a year earlier, after a record 2019. Yet success in containing the coronavirus epidemic means domestic travel has already restarted. The steady reopening will help Vietnam's convalescing economy and may encourage a welcome rethink on leisure industry priorities. Now, Vietnam is also considering reopening of the Phu Quoc Island to foreign tourists. Phu Quoc Island of the southern province ofIen Giang is poised to resume, allowing international tourists to visit as Vietnam continues to see success in containing the novel coronavirus disease. Now, Alma, for the knowledge of everybody, Phu Quoc is listed among the top 10 most beautiful Asian islands. It is located in the Gulf of Thailand, southern part of Vietnam. Now, Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc has introduced a visa exemption scheme for foreigners visiting the island effective from July 1. That's the latest from Ho Chi Minh City. Alma?
All right. Thank you very much, Chriselle, EBC Vietnam Bureau. Thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy.
You too, Alma. Thank you very much. From EBC Vietnam Bureau, this is Chriselle Yakuna. We live in interesting times.
Okay, staying in Vietnam, Da Nang is seeking a developer for a $2 billion condo in Twin Tower. And let's try to get Eliana Faith Sebastian. Hello, Eliana. Can you hear me, Eliana?
Yes, I can hear you, Alma.
There you go. Okay, so what are your updates for us?
Da Nang is about to seek developer for $2 billion condo twin tower and casino complex. Authorities in Da Nang are expected to invite a bid later this year for the rights to use a land plot for a $2 billion condo, financed twin tower, and casino complex will be developed. The Municipal People's Council had asked the People's Committee to approve a revised detailed plan on building the complex in Sunsha District. Da Nang will proceed to call for investment in the development estimated to cost $2 billion. Following the approval, the council added. The mixed-use development will be built on 8.4 hectares, according to the local Department of Natural Resources and Environment. The department said it would submit to the People's Committee a proposal on options to
Okay, let's try and get her back as soon as we get a better connection. Indonesia's Indo Food CBP success Macmore plans to buy instant noodle maker Pine Hill for $3 billion as it eyes growth in Africa and the Middle East, according to a stock exchange filing. The Indonesian food and snack giant, which makes popular Indomie brand instant noodles, said its shareholders will vote on the proposed deal at a July 15 meeting. Indofood said the purchase presents a golden opportunity to expand into fast-growing and profitable new markets, according to the filing. And through its subsidiaries, British Virgin Islands-based Pine Hill has a dozen factories with capacity to produce up to 10 billion packs of instant noodles annually. More than 260 Rohingya arrived by boat in Malaysia on Monday, according to officials, despite authorities' efforts to fight the coronavirus by stopping entry of the Muslim minority. Fears have been growing in recent months that large numbers of the migrants from mostly Buddhist Myanmar are trapped at sea as countries that traditionally allowed them turn their boats away, and many previously headed by sea to Malaysia. But authorities have strengthened maritime patrols to prevent illegal entry by foreigners over fears they could be carrying the virus. Rohingya usually travel either from Myanmar or Bangladesh, where about 1 million live in squalid refugee camps, and most of those fled a 2017 military crackdown in Myanmar, and thousands have tried to reach other more affluent Asian nations, even if it means risky voyages on crowded, rickety boats. On Monday, a Coast Guard vessel spotted a suspected migrant boat off the northwest island of Langkawi and was set to push it out to international waters, according to authorities. But as the Coast Guards approached, 53 Rohingya jumped into the sea and they were detained. On inspecting the boat, authorities found another 216 Rohingya and the body of a dead woman, according to a statement from the task force overseeing maritime patrols. Singapore's Ministry of Defense showed reporters a new outdoor facility for patients recovering from the coronavirus at the Changi Exhibition Center, home of the Singapore Air Show. Take a look.
What we do to ensure comfort for patients is to allocate individual fans. And when we design the tents and we design the partitions, we allow for land breeze, sea breeze, natural circulation, natural flow. And I think that itself is already providing a level of comfort from the heat. As for the rain, we provide rain curtains. Yeah, so depending on the situation, I think we have no problem running this place for a year, possibly. Yeah, because I think many of the structures here that we construct, we do ensure that the sturdiness and they do last easily beyond a year. But anything more, I think it will be subjected to, here again, testings and certifications and stuff.
Okay, let's head on back to Vietnam and try and get back with Eliana Faith Sebastian. Hello, Eliana. Can you hear me now? Go ahead, Eliana. Eliana, okay, so we can't... All right, let's go to Brunei, where the country is investigating 2 Malaysian COVID-19 cases which are believed to be imported from Brunei, the country's Ministry of Health said on Monday, following reports from the Malaysian Health Ministry on Sunday of 2 Malaysians testing positive for COVID-19 after their return from Brunei. The Health Ministry on Monday said that investigations into both cases are currently underway. According to Brunei's health ministry, all close contacts of the two cases were instructed to undergo COVID-19 laboratory tests and 14 days quarantine. At this time, a total of 113 individuals are undergoing quarantine. Brunei reported no new cases of COVID-19 on Monday, with the national tally of cases standing at 141, marking the 32nd consecutive day without new cases since May 7. No more recoveries were recorded on Monday, keeping the total number of recovered cases at 138. There have been 2 deaths resulting from COVID-19 in Brunei. Okay, shall we try and head on back to Vietnam for Eliana Faith Sebastian? Okay, so lawyers for a Russian suspect in the trial of 4 men accused of downing flight MH17 said Monday that the coronavirus pandemic has severely hampered efforts to prepare a preliminary defense. The high-profile trial on the shooting down of the Malaysian Airlines jetliner over eastern Ukraine in 2014, killing all 298 people on board, was postponed for procedural reasons 2.5 months ago, at the same time as the pandemic was peaking in the Netherlands. It resumed at the high-security courthouse just outside Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport, with judges and prosecutors sitting next to each other but separated with glass plates. At the last hearing on March 23, which we saw earlier, the Netherlands had already entered into lockdown, while Russia later followed suit, making contact with suspect Oleg Pulatov virtually impossible, according to his defense lawyer, Sabine ten Doishat. This included details of accusations against Pulatov and whether the Netherlands had jurisdiction to try the case, she said. Pulatov, a Russian national, together with fellow countrymen Igor Girkin, Sergei Dubinsky, and Ukrainian citizen Leonid Karchenko, have been charged by Dutch prosecutors with murder and causing the flight to crash. As has been the case in previous hearings, none of the 4 suspects were in court, with only Pulatov being defended by a legal team. Prosecutors say all 4 were linked to pro-Russian separatists on whose territory the plane's wreckage fell near the start of Ukraine's bitter civil war. All 298 crew and passengers, 196 of them Dutch, died when the Boeing 777 jet was ripped apart by a surface-to-air missile while on a routine flight between Amsterdam and Kuala Lumpur on July 17, 2014. Prosecutors argue the men were instrumental in bringing a Buk missile system to Ukraine from its original base in Russia, even if they didn't pull the trigger. Prosecutor Tids Berger on Monday told judges that extensive tests have been done, including exploding a Buk missile in Ukraine in 2016 as part of the investigation. If found guilty, the 4 suspects could be given life sentences. And Russia has long denied any involvement in the downing of MH17 and has offered a series of alternative explanations for the plane's downing. Okay, let's try to get back in Vietnam and try and get back Eliana Faith Sebastian.
Hi, Alma.
Hello, Eliana. Okay, good. Okay, so your update in Vietnam, Eliana.
Okay, Da Nang is about to seek developer for $2 billion condo twin tower and casino complex. Authorities in Da Nang are expected to invite a bid later this year for the rights to use a land plot where a $2 billion condo, finance, twin tower, and casino complex will be developed. The Municipal People's Council said on Thursday that it had asked the People's Committee to approve a revised detailed plan on building the complex in Sontra District. Da Nang will proceed to call for investment in the development, estimated to cost $2 billion. Following the approval, the council added. The mixed-use development will be built on 8.4 hectares, according to the local Department of Natural Resources and Environment. The department said it would submit to the People's Committee a proposal on options to auction off the land use rights when the latter has given the project the green light. The bidding is slated to start in the 3rd quarter of this year, the agency said. Located on Vo Van Kiet and Vong Nguyen Giap streets in Phuc Nhi Ward, the complex will have condos, hotels, a financial center, a casino, a convention center, a food court, and twin towers upon completion. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Eliana, for your update. Finally, thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care.
Thank you so much, Alma. Reporting from Da Nang, Vietnam, this is Eliana Sebastian, and we live in interesting times. Thank you.
And that is the latest news in and around the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Alma Angeles. We live in interesting times.